Hello! So, today is Sunday, July 9th, 2023, and earlier I made a video about the rainfall in the Northeast, but while I was doing that, I saw something interesting that I saw earlier in the week, but I just wanted to circle back to now since I had just re-seen it. So, let's take a look at what that was. I'm only going to talk about this for 10 minutes. So just like earlier, let's go to Google, let's type in weather, and let's go to news and see what the news is. Okay, it looks different this time. Um, where to go? Okay, so anyway, long story short, what happened this week was that the world set a new record for the highest global average temperature ever recorded. Let's see if we type that in, if it comes up. Okay, world breaks hottest day for third time this week. Basically, what happened was on Monday of this week, so we have all the temperature in the world. Some places are cold, some places are hot, but the overall average of the world we can monitor. And on Monday, it reached 17.01 degrees Celsius, which is the highest that average temperature has ever reached. For some context, that is roughly 62.6 degrees Fahrenheit. Um, so there's a lot of so this has been getting a lot of coverage. So I just wanted to look at it a little bit more in depth. What's going on? Why are we getting there? So first off, what I'd like to say is that this should come as no surprise to anyone. The, our planet Earth, is warming. It has been warming continuously for the better part of over a century. So one of the things we can look at is, let's go to nasa.gov, and there's a lot of different agencies that monitor the temperature of the world. NASA is one of them that displays their information quite nicely. So what we can do here is look at this chart that they have over here. So what this is plotting is the average temperature across the whole entire Earth. So some places are warmer, some places are cooler. This is taking that average temperature and plotting it as an anomaly from normal. So what's that average temperature, and then was a year above or below average. And what we can see is continuously since really like the turn of the 20th century, that average temperature has been increasing quite steadily. There's been a few years that jumped up further, some years were a little bit colder, but overall the trend is that it's increasing. What we're looking at here, this is a year by year breakdown. So each of these points is one different year. The last year that they have is 2022, when the world as a whole was about 0.9 degrees Celsius above average. The record that was set earlier this week was a daily average temperature, meaning that not the whole of 2023, but for that day, that was the warmest day ever recorded. Partially, this is due to carbon dioxide increasing in the atmosphere, as well as other greenhouse gases. We can see very, very steadily, the Industrial Revolution began way back when in the 1800s or so, and steadily since this data set begins in the 1960s, it's been increasing right up until the 2020s. One factor that to an extent exacerbates this year that news outlets have covered is the El Nino that's developed this year. So we are currently in an El Nino year. Let's see, El Nino SST maps. So if we pull up some maps, basically what that means is that the ocean temperatures in the Pacific are much warmer than normal. El Nino is a natural phenomenon. Sometimes it's present, sometimes it's not present, but it's essentially a warming of the oceans, and it's related to the wind currents that are blowing on those oceans. You can kind of think of it as like a cup of hot tea. When you blow on the warm ocean or on the warm cup of tea, it kind of cools the surface down a little bit. When you stop blowing, the sea is able to heat up more. So that's what the El Nino is, and that kind of contributes to the um, air temperature being warmer than normal. But making no mistake, this air temperature is warmer than normal because that is the trajectory that the Earth has been on. I showed you the global air temperature that has been increasing year after year. We can also look at the ocean warming. So this is This is ocean energy stored in the ocean since 1960. And you can see that's steadily been increasing. Just like the air, the ocean stores heat and energy. So when we have an El Nino year where that heat is being released from the ocean, it warms the air temperature even more. So that's one of the factors that's going on into this. And actually, if we go to climate, let's see, reanalyzer is what I want. Let's do this one. So Climate Reanalyzer is a website that has lots of very cool maps. So what we can look at is, so this is just for today, Sunday, July 9th. We can look at the overall temperature anomaly across the globe today. Basically, this is the Earth. All the areas in red are above their climatological average, meaning they're warmer than average. All the areas in blue are a little bit below average. As I said, some areas are cooler, some areas are warmer, but all together, when you sum up the positive warm, the negative cold, it comes out to an overall net warming of the Earth that is going on. Today, as we speak today, the Earth is, yesterday, July 8th, the world was 0.94 degrees Celsius above normal. Let's see what else. Of that, a lot of that is coming from Antarctica at the moment. Antarctica is almost 4 degrees above their average temperature for the last 30 years. You can see that here's the bright reds on the bottom of the globe. Antarctica, very warm right now. Let's see. And looking back at those sea surface temperatures, so the ocean temperatures, I mentioned that the ocean was much warmer than it has been historically. You can look at the world's oceans here. Every single one of them, with only a few isolated exceptions, is significantly above average. Here, this warming along the equator off the coast of South America, that is that El Nino I was referring to. There is a significant amount of warm heat and energy stored in that ocean water that is currently being released into the atmosphere. And that is expected to, I believe, I know it's expected to persist through the remainder of this year, potentially intensify even more. Again, just contributing to that ongoing trajectory. If we look at the Atlantic Ocean, very, very, very much above normal versus its historical average. So that's what that meant. So if you do see these headlines, world's hottest day, it's referring to the average temperature across the globe. So as we saw in our map on the reanalyzer, some places are cooler than normal at the moment, some places are warmer than normal at the moment, but overall, it's significantly warmer than it has been in the past, and that is breaking records. Actually, while I'm here, with the 1 minute that remains, I'm going to take a look at Canada, because Canada just set some pretty impressive heat records this weekend. So Canada heat. Essentially, what happened is parts of northern Canada have literally gotten up to 99 degrees Fahrenheit this week due to that warm air that's essentially migrated northward into parts of Canada. You can kind of get a sense of it from some of these headlines. Heat warnings in place for Alberta, British Columbia, etc. And on this map, you can see it as this concentrated area is very abnormally hot in Canada. I believe they got up to about 99 degrees Fahrenheit, just just a little distance away from the Arctic Circle. So yeah, that's all that is. I'm gonna cut this off now, and happy weathering to all who weather.